Hey everybody, ronarray here, and some time ago I did a detailed POB reviewing video where I showcased some of the most common mistakes people make in the POBs and shared some tips on how to improve them. That video was pretty helpful to people, so here's the part 2. You can't understand why some parts of the builds are not like in the YouTube videos? Wow, your def is not capped for some reason? You have 100% less DPS than you supposed to? Let's figure it out together. This video will mostly contain information from second fixing your POB stream, and I will address most of the issues that some of you are making in POBs. Let's go! So your damage right now is 9,549, but if you will pick Experienced Herbalist, and after that you will just exchange, for example, one flask, and you will add a really proper tinctures, for example that one and that one. Look, you can literally almost double your damage. It can give you 90% of additional damage just based on the tinctures and experienced herbalists. That's a huge step forward for your damage. So when you have a situation like that, you have 90% of spell suppression and you don't have enough currency to buy tattoos, you can always just spend 2 points and get end range to cap it without any issue with a huge step forward. You can also take more small notes around the quick step if it's needed, but currently just going for end range is perfectly enough. In that example, Cinder Swallow is not providing any cool bonuses for our bleeding build. Instead of that, you need a Tincture, because Tincture can provide you huge amount of damage. So look, if we will take Tincture and we'll roll it with increased effect and damage over time multiplier, look at that, it can provide you 20% of additional damage. That's a big thing. That's a very big thing. And if you can just add it and change Cinder Swallow to the Tincture, 20% of damage is yours. It's very easy to do, so using Cinder Swallow there is not a single reason for it. So guys, in case your lacery build progressed very good and you have a decent attack speed already, for example you have an attack speed on your gloves and the amount is kind of fine, I recommend to recraft your axe from attack speed to physical damage multiplier, because that's going to give you more damage, but you will lose a little attack speed and you will not feel that bad based on that. So I definitely recommend to recraft it. It's going to improve your damage better. So look, you have a chance to avoid being shocked, but used when you become shocked. So if you already shocked and the flask is used when you are becoming shocked, why you need more chance to avoid it? You're already shocked and effect is not really lower. So going for a different pick there would be a very good idea. There's no point to roll a flask with used when you become shocked and chance to avoid being shocked at the same time. So yeah guys, if you have a Whispers of Doom and you are cursing this Arcanist brand like right here, so you have Ralakesh brand, Elemental Weakness and Flammability, you don't need to take curse skills, have increased cast speed. Instead, taking curse duration will be better, so you can save points like that, because you're taking curse effect anyway, and that's a very good setup for you. So here's your tinctures like Rotten Horn and Prismatic. Both of them are good but not perfect. If you will drop both of them, your damage is like 580. So let's just drop both of them. And you will use Mine Tinctures instead. So look, it's giving you double your damage. As you can see, it's literally doubled your damage based on your tinctures, right? So if you will use my tinctures right here, like Rotten Thorn, critical strike chance and penetration, and prismatic, melee weapon attack speed and elemental damage, it's going to double your DPS. And it will cost only 2 divines. So you can literally double your DPS just by using better tinctures correctly. So look, in such situation, when you have a very low spell suppression, like 27%, it's much better idea, instead of taking prevent 3% of suppressed spell damage, just taking chance to suppress spell damage is lucky, because it's literally going to double your spell suppression chance. It's not going to provide you a lot through ability, but it's a simple change with 1 point when you're dropping the stuff that it's barely working and doubling your spell suppression. So yeah guys, in such setup, in such setup. Instead of spending points for dismembering, you're spending 5 points on there, right? For 10% of DPS. So 16,998, right? Let's drop it and take retaliation instead. As you can see, it's very close, but we saved 2 points already. We also received cool bonuses such as defenses from equipped shell. That's a very cool setup. So just going 3 points for dismembering is much better. And on 2 points that we saved, we can take any other set of damaging nodes. Any other set of damaging nodes anywhere. For example, like Aspect of the Links. And look, we received almost 1 million additional damage for the same amount of 5 points. But we also received cool bonuses such as moving speed from Aspect of the Links. We also received some ACR here. And we also received defenses from retaliation. So it's better by far. And you definitely need to try something like that. That's a very interesting setup. Right now you have a mastery, 15% increased duration of ailments on enemies. Which is not bad, because it's working with your bleeding, right? But there is one point. Instead of getting 15% here, you can spend percentage here and you'll get 25% of bleeding duration. So it's much better. Instead of just 15%, you can get 25%. So it's a very good exchange. If you prefer duration, I recommend to take those passives instead, because they are much better than the mastery here. When you already have a Ralakesh Impatience, you don't really need Inexorable anymore. So it's just not that important for you, because you don't need to gain endurance charges. You always consider it on maximum. So you can properly drop all 3 points and just save space. So Inexorable and like boots, you already have boots, you don't need those points anymore. So you have it like that, you have 64% spell block chance and Tetsudo. So your points is 109, which is nice. So if you will drop Tetsudo, and you will just spend 2 points here, and 1 point here, you will save 1 point compared, but you will be capped in block, so even more block here. That's a very cool and very simple change, but it's helping in most of the cases. So look, on your weapon you have crafted attacks with this weapon penetrate 10% of elemental resistance. But you're not attacking with your weapon. You're pretty much using a spell with your weapon. And that way attacks with this weapon penetrate 10% of elemental resistances are giving you completely nothing. So if you will just take it and drop that, nothing changes as you can see. Not a single change. So guys, that's a very important part. If you're picking Thread of Hope, a big one, you can pick 1 point for reservation efficiency right here. That's a very cool point and it should help you a lot. So pick it. Also, another pick is pretty much Blood Siphon. It's 10% of increased maximum life and also ACR bonus for free. So you can get some damage with it because you already use Omniscience. That's a very cool change. Always pick it. And if you need mana, you can also go for Soul Siphon, but it's not that important. Also, you can pick Willow Blades, for example, for about 3% of damage, which is nice too, if you prefer it. But the main part, look, you have an option to pretty much go for health and mana reservation efficiency right here. Both of them are awesome nodes, so don't hesitate to pick those. So look, on the Fledged Lacquered Helmet, you have a far shot bonus as you can see, right? So it gives you projectile cannot collide with enemies in close range and far shot. But in your tree you use far shot as well. It gives you a very similar bonus to what is already up there. And since you already have a far shot from your helmet, it could be a very good idea to pretty much go with Ricochet instead. So like that, detail. So look, you have a primal force here. It's not a bad node, but it's not really up that often. Even if you have a flasks up, it gives you only 454 like combined damage with it. But if you will drop it, look, and instead you will take Mark the Prey, it will give you more. So it literally gives you more damage. And it's a very nice setup. You're also saving 1 point. So for 3 points, Mark the Prey is giving more damage than you're receiving for 4 points with Primal Force. So guys, look, when you're using a Flask, and your Flask is just basic like Eternal or Divine Life, so you need to roll it with a very cool bonus like Instant Recovery when on low life. It's going to save your life so many times. That's a very cool and very basic bonus. So instead of rolling like reduced charges per use, which is like, it's not really good, you need to roll Instant Recovery when on low life. It's a very good idea. Let me explain that part. Sometimes you have a very low chaos resistance like -37 and you have open space here. You can literally use Light of Minion for chaos resistance and jump to 50% chaos resistance right here. You're going to survive much better with such setup, so it's definitely recommended to do that. So let's look at your Flask right here. You have increased charge recovery, which is not bad. You can also roll like increased duration on your Flask, but you have additional elemental resistance during effect, and it's not the best buff. Currently, I recommend to pretty much focus on working and getting reduced effect of curses here, or reduced effect of shock. You definitely need both shock and curses on your Flasks. So if you're using 3, you need curses, shock, and armor. You can drop evasion, for example, and you need to work that part. You need to work on that part. So curses is going to be much better than additional elemental resistances. And yeah, I think I already mentioned that, but sometimes you're getting a nice ring like that, and as you can see, the implicit only 18% of chaos resistance. You can pretty much just click it with Blazing Orbs to receive 23%, an additional 5% of chaos, which is definitely nice and so simple to do because Blazing Orbs cost nothing. So that's been my POB fixing compilation. Hope you enjoyed the raid. Thank you very much for watching as usual, and see you next time. ronarray out.